A sharp scream tore through the narrow alley, echoing off crumbling brick walls. Emily gasped, clutching her torn backpack as rain pelted her thin coat. She had never felt such despair. A shadow moved near the corner. Was it help or danger? "Please, someone," she whispered, shivering. Memories of past betrayals flashed, lost opportunities, broken promises. She wanted to run, yet something anchored her to the wet, cold ground. Her heart raced as she glimpsed a face she thought she'd never see again. It was a reminder of a secret she couldn't escape, the one she had blamed herself for all these years. Her trembling hands hid the note she had found earlier, a message that could change everything. Emily's mind raced. Could she forgive herself? Could she survive another betrayal in a world that seemed determined to crush her spirit? Rain mixed with tears, and she made a choice, just for a moment, to rise and confront the chaos around her. Emily ducked into the abandoned subway station, its walls covered with graffiti and the stench of wet decay. Every echo magnified her fear. She slid against the damp wall, trying to catch her breath. Her mind replayed the betrayal that had led her here. The world outside had been ruthless, and she had no one to rely on, yet a small spark of defiance flickered inside her. She could not allow fear to control her anymore. A distant clatter sounded. Was it rats or someone following her? Her stomach twisted, but she reminded herself she had survived worse. Thoughts of giving up rose, but she pushed them aside. She wiped the rain from her face, eyes burning with determination. Every step she took deeper into the station, she whispered promises to herself, a silent vow to fight for her future no matter the obstacles. The distant hum of a train echoed, though none were scheduled. Emily's heart thumped as she scanned the shadows. Every graffiti-marked column seemed alive with threat. Memories of hunger, cold, and ridicule surged. A single voice called her name, soft and trembling. "Emily, is that you?" It was Lucas, her unlikely friend. Relief and wariness warred within her. She had learned to expect betrayal, not comfort. Yet here he was, a reminder of kindness in a cruel world. She stepped forward cautiously, unsure if she could trust anyone anymore. His eyes, bright and hopeful, mirrored the determination she was trying to muster in herself. In that fleeting moment, hope and fear collided, both dangerous and necessary. Lucas reached out, his voice steady. "I'm here. You're safe with me." Emily's chest tightened as the years of solitude pressed against her ribs. Could she allow herself to rely on someone? Doubt battled instinct. The echo of betrayal lingered, but Lucas' presence was tangible proof that trust was possible. She swallowed, her throat dry, and nodded, inching closer. The shadows seemed to retreat with each step. They moved silently, side by side, navigating the debris-strewn tunnels. Every puddle reflected their cautious alliance. Emily felt the fragile threads of connection weaving slowly around her, fragile yet resilient. She realized that survival was no longer just a solitary struggle. It could be shared. They paused near a collapsed stairwell, the debris, a barrier, and a shield. Emily breathed deeply, feeling her pulse settle. She recalled past nights shivering in alleys, facing hunger, isolation, and fear. Lucas glanced at her, a silent question in his eyes. She shook her head slowly. Words failed her. Instead, she offered a faint, weary smile. In that brief exchange, Emily sensed a fragile trust forming. She realized that while the world had been unkind, small acts of courage and compassion could endure. The path ahead remained uncertain, yet she had found a companion, a shared determination to face whatever dangers lurked in the shadows. The station was no longer just a place of hiding. It was the start of a journey. The air in the abandoned warehouse was thick with dust and the scent of oil. Emily's eyes scanned towering crates, each shadow hiding unknown dangers. Every step she took echoed, a reminder of her isolation. Lucas whispered, cautioning her to stay close. They moved deeper, following a faint glimmer of light, their hearts synchronizing with each creak of the floorboards. Memories of past betrayals and near escapes pressed against her mind, but she forced herself to focus. Every pulse of adrenaline reminded her that survival required vigilance. Suddenly, a metallic clang startled them. Emily froze, fear clawing at her chest, but determination forced her forward. This place, abandoned and perilous, was a test of courage, a trial by shadows and uncertainty. She realized the world's darkness had only sharpened her instincts. Even in the silence, tension hummed like electricity, promising that every decision mattered. A sudden gust swept through broken windows, scattering papers and loose tools across the floor. Emily's heart raced as she moved, each step uncertain but resolute. Lucas's voice guided her, calm yet alert. "Watch the beams, they're unstable." They navigated narrow passages, avoiding jagged edges and loose planks. Every moment demanded focus. The warehouse could betray them at any second. Emily's mind traced the steps that had led her here, recalling moments of fear and loss. But now, alongside Lucas, she felt a spark of courage she had long denied herself. A flickering light ahead hinted at an exit, or danger. The tension mounted with each creaking step. Dust swirled around them as their shadows danced on the walls, merging with the unknown. She reminded herself that survival was not just avoiding harm. It was understanding the rhythm of fear and acting despite it. They reached a partially collapsed staircase leading to a hidden mezzanine. Emily hesitated, the height dizzying, but Lucas' steady presence calmed her. Her fingers gripped the railing, splinters biting her skin. Every sound seemed magnified. The drip of water, distant metallic echoes, her own breath. She remembered past moments of panic, of being trapped and powerless. Yet here, amidst the debris, she discovered an unfamiliar steadiness. Lucas moved carefully beside her, offering silent reassurance. They paused at the top, surveying the empty expanse below, realizing the danger was both visible and unseen. Emily's gaze swept across forgotten machinery and dark corners, calculating risks, imagining potential escape routes. The world outside had been cruel, but the warehouse demanded focus and courage. Every creak beneath their weight became a heartbeat, each step a choice between fear and survival. At the mezzanine, a faint glow revealed crates stacked like a labyrinth. Emily's curiosity battled caution as she peered around corners. The smell of damp wood and rust filled the air. Lucas signaled silently, pointing to markings on the floor, traces of someone who had been here before. Emily's mind raced, imagining the person who had left them, wondering if it was a threat or an ally. The warehouse seemed alive with whispers, every shadow suggesting movement. She remembered fear gripping her in alleys, in empty streets, yet now she felt a strange thrill. Survival required observation, patience, and the courage to act. Each glimmer of light or motion became a puzzle, each breath a measure of her resilience. Together, they navigated the maze, shadows dancing across walls, tension growing, as if the building itself was testing them. A sudden noise from below made Emily freeze. Her pulse quickened. Lucas crouched, signaling her to stay silent. The shadows shifted. The source of the sound remained unclear. She recalled moments when fear had led her into danger, yet now she had clarity. Every decision mattered, every movement, a choice between caution and courage. The warehouse, abandoned and menacing, tested more than just their agility. It tested their instinct and resolve. Emily's hand brushed against a crate, feeling the rough texture grounding her. Lucas's met hers, and she realized trust was more powerful than fear. Together they advanced, step by step, the unknown stretching before them. Each echo, each shifting shadow, reminded them that survival was not just enduring, but anticipating, learning, and adapting. Their journey through the darkness was only beginning, but hope and courage guided them forward. The city skyline glimmered under the dim moonlight as Emily and Lucas reached the abandoned rooftop. Wind whipped their coats and tousled hair, carrying distant sirens and the faint smell of rain. Emily's gaze lingered on the shadowed alleys below, tracing every flicker of movement, every silhouette of danger. Lucas stood beside her, scanning the horizon with unwavering focus, ready for any threat. The height was dizzying, yet exhilarating, a stark contrast to the confinement of the warehouse. Memories of past struggles surged through Emily's mind, blending fear and courage. Each heartbeat was amplified by the night's silence, the tension palpable. A faint rustling behind a ventilation shaft made them both stiffen. Emily's instincts screamed caution, yet a spark of determination shone through. They were at the edge, both literally and metaphorically, facing uncertainty with an unspoken understanding that the next move could change everything. Shadows and moonlight danced across the rooftop, painting a scene of suspense, danger, and the fragile beauty of survival. A sudden flash of movement caught Emily's eye. She signaled Lucas, heart hammering as they moved toward a fire escape. Rusted metal groaned under their weight, echoing through the empty streets. Emily recalled narrow escapes and past mistakes, but the presence of Lucas steadied her. The city's silence was deceptive, every distant car horn and neon flicker, a potential signal of danger. They descended cautiously, aware of every shadow, every flicker of light, calculating risks with precision. Emily's mind raced, imagining who, or what, might be waiting below. Her fingers brushed the railing, cold and rough, grounding her as adrenaline surged. Lucas's eyes met hers, reassuring and steadfast. Every step down the fire escape demanded patience and courage. They moved as a unit, blending stealth with careful observation, navigating the precarious metal stairs toward the unknown streets below. They reached the street, slick with rain and glimmering under scattered streetlights. Emily's senses sharpened, the city's rhythm unpredictable and dangerous. Lucas scanned every corner, while Emily's eyes followed fleeting shadows. Memories of dark alleys and past betrayals made her cautious, but the thrill of survival fueled her resolve. Each puddle reflected neon hues, each distant figure a potential threat. A stray cat darted across the road, making them flinch. Emily felt her pulse quicken, adrenaline mixing with a strange exhilaration. They had emerged from the heights, but the streets demanded constant vigilance. Lucas gestured toward an alley, silent communication guiding their path. Emily realized that trust, intuition, and courage were now their most potent weapons. Every choice was crucial, and hesitation could cost them dearly. The city seemed alive with whispers, shadows, and hidden eyes, yet they moved forward, undeterred by fear, embracing the tension and unpredictability of their environment. A narrow alley beckoned, dimly lit and shadowed by towering brick walls. Emily felt the weight of the city pressing in, yet she pressed forward. Every echo of dripping water and distant footsteps heightened her awareness. Lucas held a flashlight, its beams slicing through darkness, revealing crates and abandoned objects. Emily's mind mapped escape routes, calculating risk with every movement. Memories of fear and failure surged, but determination anchored her resolve. The alley seemed alive, whispering secrets of hidden dangers. Each step was deliberate, each breath measured. Emily realized survival demanded more than caution, it demanded intuition and courage. Shadows shifted unpredictably, shapes emerging and vanishing, testing their nerves and instincts. They moved in perfect sync, shadows and light blending, navigating toward uncertainty with focus and silent determination. At the alley's end, a faint opening revealed a hidden courtyard, bathed in moonlight. Emily exhaled, feeling a mix of relief and lingering tension. Lucas remained vigilant, scanning every corner for potential threats. The courtyard, with scattered benches and overgrown plants, seemed almost serene compared to the city's chaos. Yet, Emily knew appearances could deceive. Every sound of wind, rustling leaves, or distant footsteps carried significance. She realized that courage was not the absence of fear, but moving forward despite it. Lucas's presence reminded her that trust was essential. Together, they navigated the courtyard, eyes alert, senses sharpened, prepared for whatever lay beyond. The night stretched ahead, uncertain but full of possibility, shadows and light weaving a delicate balance between danger and hope. Emily and Lucas crept through the abandoned train station. Shadows stretched across the cracked tiles, and a faint drip echoed in the distance. Every step was cautious, their eyes scanning for hidden dangers. The station felt frozen in time, trains long gone but memories lingering in rusted tracks and broken benches. Emily's instincts tensed with every creak of metal, while Lucas kept a steady hand on her shoulder, guiding without words. The wind swept through broken windows, carrying dust and the scent of decay. They knew moving quietly was crucial. Any sudden sound could draw unwanted attention. Each breath was measured, each heartbeat loud against the eerie silence. Despite the foreboding atmosphere, a spark of hope flickered in Emily's mind, a possibility of discovery, of answers hidden in the shadows of the station. They reached the platform edge where graffiti-covered walls reflected fading sunlight. Emily's gaze lingered on a faded poster, memories flickering in her mind. Lucas scanned the surroundings, alert for any movement. The air felt heavy with anticipation. Echoes of past commuters mingled with distant city noises. Each step they took stirred up dust, making them hyper-aware of every sound. The setting sun cast long shadows, painting the station with an eerie glow. Emily's heart raced, yet determination kept her moving forward. Lucas's presence reassured her, a steady anchor in the uncertainty. They were close to discovering something important, something hidden beyond the decay and silence of the abandoned station. Emily spotted a partially hidden doorway, leading to an underground tunnel. She signaled Lucas, and they approached cautiously. Darkness swallowed the threshold, the smell of damp stone and mildew filling the air. Lucas flicked on a small flashlight, the beam cutting through shadows to reveal uneven steps descending into the unknown. Emily's pulse quickened. Every sound was amplified, the drip of water, distant scurrying of rats, the creak of rusted metal. They knew the tunnel could hold secrets or dangers. The faint hum of ventilation echoed, making the air feel alive. They exchanged a glance, silent communication passing between them. Determination overrode fear. Emily stepped first, Lucas right behind, entering the depths of the tunnel where answers waited, cloaked in shadow. The tunnel twisted and narrowed, walls close and damp. Emily and Lucas moved silently, flashlight beams highlighting puddles and scattered debris. The smell of earth and mold filled their lungs. Their footsteps echoed softly, creating rhythm in the stillness. Lucas gestured toward a faint glimmer ahead, a metal door partially open. Emily's heart leapt with anticipation. Each sound heightened their senses, from distant dripping water to subtle shifts in shadows. The tunnel seemed alive, breathing with hidden secrets. Emily felt the weight of the moment, knowing discovery was near. Trust in Lucas steadied her nerves, while courage pushed them forward into uncertainty. Every step through the darkness brought them closer to something monumental, hidden beneath layers of silence and decay. At the tunnel's end, a faint glow revealed an old control room. Emily and Lucas stepped inside, dust motes dancing in the light. The room smelled of rust and machinery. Rows of abandoned monitors flickered weakly, displaying static. Emily's eyes scanned the panels, heart racing with curiosity and fear. Lucas examined the control levers, cautious but intrigued. The room felt frozen in time, a relic of forgotten operations. Every movement made the air shift, amplifying anticipation. They were on the brink of a revelation, the secrets of the station poised to emerge from decades of neglect. Emily's hand hovered over a dusty console, hesitation and excitement mingling. The answers they sought were close, hidden in the mechanical skeleton of the control room. Rain lashed against the windows as Emily and Lucas huddled inside the abandoned observatory. Shadows of skeletal beams stretched across the floor, dancing with the flickering light of a single lantern. Outside, thunder rumbled, echoing through the night, shaking the walls with a low, vibrating resonance. Emily's gaze swept over the dusty telescope, imagining the stars she once dreamt of mapping. Lucas shuffled through scattered papers, searching for cryptic notes left by the observatory's previous occupant. I wipe out Bayan. Their hands trembled slightly, not from cold but from anticipation, sensing the answers they sought were within reach. The room smelled of damp wood, rust, and old books, a combination that somehow heightened their awareness. Every creak of the floorboards and whisper of wind against the broken panes carried suspense, hinting at secrets hidden for decades. Emily ran her fingers over etched symbols on the telescope stand, tracing patterns that might reveal a hidden message. Lucas adjusted the lantern, casting new shadows that revealed a hidden compartment in the wall. The air seemed to thicken with history, mystery, and unspoken warnings. Lightning illuminated their faces momentarily, revealing determination, awe, and the shared resolve to uncover what had been concealed for so long. The observatory, once silent, seemed alive with possibility, and each movement brought them closer to revelation. Lucas pulled out a weathered map from the hidden compartment, its edges frayed and symbols faded with age. Emily leaned closer, eyes narrowing as she traced routes connecting distant points on the map. Though each line seemed to pulse with potential significance, hinting at a network hidden beneath the city. The room vibrated with energy as rain pounded more fiercely against the roof, and a distant roll of thunder emphasized the gravity of their discovery. Emily whispered observations, noting patterns she hadn't noticed before, while Lucas cross-referenced markings with the notes they had found in the library. Dust swirled with each movement, catching the lantern light like tiny sparks. The air smelled strongly of wet wood and aged parchment. Outside, shadows from lightning danced across broken glass, and inside, their hearts raced with anticipation. They exchanged a brief, tense glance, understanding that the map could lead them to a revelation that had been hidden for generations. Every flicker of the lantern illuminated a fragment of history waiting to be pieced together, and the room itself seemed to hold its breath in anticipation of their next move. The map revealed a location beneath the city, marked with a strange emblem. Emily's breath caught as she realized this pointed to a hidden archive beneath the old cathedral. Lucas studied the markings, calculating routes and identifying possible entry points. The storm intensified, rattling the windows and sending shivers through the walls. Emily touched the edges of the map, imagining the labyrinthine corridors they would need to navigate. Dust rose in soft clouds as they shifted position, illuminated by the flickering lantern. The air was thick with anticipation, as though the observatory itself sensed the significance of their discovery. Every symbol on the map was a puzzle piece, every marking a clue to secrets buried for centuries. Lucas suggested strategies for navigating potential obstacles, while Emily theorized about the contents of the hidden archive. I didn't know and be so mysterious. The tension between excitement and caution tightened around them like a physical force. Thunder cracked above, shaking the fragile ceiling, and they both flinched before continuing their meticulous study. The map was more than paper. It was a key, a bridge to a hidden past, and possibly the path to answers they had long sought. With map and notes in hand, Emily and Lucas prepared to leave the observatory, stepping into the torrential rain. Each step splashed through puddles, forming on the cracked stone pathway outside. Lightning illuminated the cathedral spires ahead, revealing the darkened entrance they would need to investigate. Emily's coat clung damply to her frame as she adjusted her hood, and Lucas tightened his jacket against the storm. The wind howled around them, tugging at their clothes and hair. Their determination overshadowed the weather, and they moved with purpose, carefully navigating the treacherous ground. The city lights flickered in the distance, muted by sheets of rain, creating a surreal, almost otherworldly glow. Emily whispered possibilities about what they might find beneath the cathedral, and Lucas nodded, calculating risks. Every step heightened their sense of adventure, but also the weight of responsibility. The storm mirrored the turmoil of the unknown, and yet the allure of discovery pushed them onward. Their combined courage propelled them forward, ready to uncover secrets that had remained hidden through centuries of silence. They arrived at the cathedral, its massive doors looming like silent guardians of the past. Emily's hand hovered over the rusted handle, feeling the chill of metal beneath her fingers. Lucas shone a flashlight into the dark interior, revealing dust-laden pews and towering columns stretching into shadowed heights. The smell of old stone and incense lingered, mixing with the dampness of the storm outside. Emily whispered a plan to navigate the hidden chambers, rumored to lie beneath the nave. Lucas traced the patterns on the floor with his flashlight, identifying potential access points. Shadows played tricks on their eyes, stretching walls and ceiling into impossible angles. Every creak and groan of the old structure resonated like a warning. Yet the promise of discovery, of uncovering centuries-old secrets, drove them onward. Emily and Lucas shared a determined glance before stepping inside, each movement careful and deliberate, aware that the cathedral was not just a building, but a repository of history, mystery, and potentially transformative knowledge. The storm outside faded slightly in intensity, but the weight of the past pressed around them, whispering secrets that had waited too long to be revealed. Emily and Lucas stared at the screens as encrypted codes began to unravel, revealing a hidden map of the city's underground network. Every line and symbol on the monitors pulsed with meaning, illuminating corridors they had never known existed. The hum of machinery filled the air, vibrating through their bones. Emily leaned closer, tracing routes with her fingers, her mind racing to connect each clue. Lucas adjusted levers carefully, ensuring the ancient systems responded accurately. Shadows flickered across the walls, creating an eerie dance of light that reflected their anticipation. Dust swirled in the air like golden sparks, and the smell of metal and old circuitry hung heavily. Time seemed to slow as they realized the magnitude of their discovery, a labyrinth beneath the city, untouched for decades, potentially holding untold secrets. Every monitor, every lever whispered history, mystery, and danger. They exchanged a tense glance, knowing the choices they made next could change everything. The faint hum evolved into a steady mechanical rhythm, syncing with their heartbeat. Emily's curiosity surged, Lucas' determination strengthened. The underground world beckoned, promising revelations, risks, and a truth that had waited patiently, hidden beneath layers of concrete and silence. The underground map revealed a section marked with a red symbol. Emily's eyes widened as she realized it pointed to a forgotten control hub beneath the city library. Lucas studied the layout, calculating paths and possible obstacles. Every detail mattered: the narrow corridors, collapsed tunnels, and hidden security doors. The hum of machinery seemed to grow louder, echoing in the confined space, filling them with adrenaline. Emily traced her finger along the map, imagining each step in the labyrinth below. Lucas pointed toward a blinking terminal, signaling an anomaly. Dust fell from overhead beams, drifting lazily in the shafts of artificial light. Their expressions were a mixture of fear, excitement, and determination. This journey was no longer about curiosity. It was about discovery, survival, and uncovering truths long buried. Emily whispered possible scenarios, and Lucas responded with careful calculations. The room seemed alive, as if the machinery itself understood the stakes. Time stretched, minutes feeling like hours, each second charged with suspense. The duo prepared to descend into unknown corridors where history, danger, and revelations awaited. Emily and Lucas carefully descended through a narrow maintenance shaft, each step sending echoes up the shaft. Their flashlights illuminated pipes and beams, showing years of decay. The musty air smelled of damp stone and rusted metal. Lucas led the way, ensuring the path was safe, while Emily followed, her senses alert for any movement. Shadows shifted unnaturally along the walls, creating phantom figures in the dim light. Each step was measured, deliberate, as a single misstep could trigger a collapse. Their hearts raced in synchrony with the creaking of the metal supports. Emily's hand brushed against the rough wall, feeling vibrations from distant machinery. Lucas whispered instructions, their voices barely audible over the hum of the city above. The sense of adventure mixed with danger made the moment surreal. They were not just exploring, they were intruding into forgotten veins of the city, discovering secrets meant to remain hidden. The thrill of the unknown pressed against their consciousness as they descended deeper, ready for what awaited them in the labyrinth below. They reached a hidden chamber, doors rusted but ajar, revealing forgotten machinery. Emily's flashlight revealed control panels covered in dust, while Lucas examined levers and gauges, checking for functionality. The hum of machines echoed softly, creating a rhythm that seemed almost alive. Cobwebs clung to corners, and scattered debris hinted at decades of abandonment. Emily traced her hand along etched symbols, attempting to decipher meaning. Lucas carefully activated a lever, and a low rumble resonated as the ancient gears engaged. Dust shifted, motes catching the flashlight glow, filling the chamber with an ethereal shimmer. The air smelled of iron, stone, and age. Their expressions were intense, fear, awe, and determination blending seamlessly. Every detail mattered: the alignment of levers, the flicker of lights, the pattern of rust on walls. This chamber held the key to the underground network, a relic of hidden power and forgotten history. Emily and Lucas exchanged a nod, silently agreeing that discovery required caution. The machinery began to pulse, illuminating symbols they had never seen, suggesting a secret waiting to be unlocked. As the machinery hummed to life, a hidden passage opened before them, revealing a cavernous underground hall, illuminated by flickering lights. Emily's breath caught at the scale of the discovery, while Lucas stepped forward cautiously, scanning every corner. Columns of rusted metal stretched into shadowed heights, supporting vaulted ceilings thick with dust. The air vibrated with energy, charged with history and secrets long sealed. Emily ran her fingers over a large control console, the symbols now glowing faintly, as if acknowledging their presence. Lucas adjusted switches, bringing more lights to life, revealing intricate pipes and conduits sprawling across the hall. Their shadows stretched dramatically across the walls, dancing in sync with the flickering lights. The hall seemed almost alive, whispering stories of forgotten experiments, lost knowledge, and hidden dangers. Every sound, drips, hums, distant echoes, was amplified in the cavernous space. Emily and Lucas exchanged a glance, understanding the magnitude of the moment. They had entered a domain untouched by time, a hidden world beneath the city, where every step carried history, mystery, and the promise of revelation. Emily and Lucas descended the spiral staircase beneath the cathedral, flashlights cutting through the darkness. The walls were carved with ancient symbols, worn smooth by centuries. Each step echoed softly, blending with distant drips of water. Emily traced a faint symbol, shivering slightly, while Lucas scanned for hidden doors partially obscured by debris. Dust fell from the ceiling, catching in their beams like tiny stars. The air smelled of stone and age, heavy and still. Shadows seemed to move at the edges of their vision, hinting at secrets buried deep. Their anticipation grew, discovery and danger felt intertwined. Each step carried them deeper into a labyrinth of history, curiosity propelling them forward despite the oppressive silence. The hidden archive awaited, holding secrets that could change everything. They entered a vast chamber with vaulted ceilings, moonlight slicing through a narrow slit above. A stone pedestal held a leather-bound tome with intricate golden designs. Emily approached cautiously, brushing dust away, while Lucas studied faded murals depicting ancient rituals. Symbols on the murals matched markings from their map, Daitwa. A draft rustled scattered pages around the pedestal. Emily hesitated before touching the tome, aware that opening it could alter everything. The chamber's silence pressed on them, punctuated only by their breaths and dripping water. The space felt sacred and untouched, brimming with secrets of the past. Their curiosity outweighed fear. Every step closer brought the thrill of unveiling long-hidden knowledge. The hidden archive had begun revealing its first truths, promising greater discoveries deeper within. Emily opened the tome, revealing glowing arcane scripts and diagrams. Lucas leaned in, matching symbols with their notes. Pages showed ancient astronomical alignments and secret city locations. Emily traced constellations visible only once every few decades. The chamber seemed to hum faintly as dust motes sparkled in their beams. Knowledge long hidden pressed on them, thrilling and humbling. They shared glances of awe, aware they were holding priceless history. Every wall around them whispered of the past, witnessing the continuation of a legacy. Each movement was careful, deliberate, filled with reverence. The hidden archive had started revealing its secrets, hinting at even greater discoveries lying deeper within the cathedral's underworld. Lucas and Emily discovered a map hidden within the tome, showing a secret chamber beneath the cathedral. Excitement surged as they spotted markings indicating a trapdoor. Carefully, they cleared debris covering the aged tiles. Moonlight filtered faintly through cracks above, casting eerie patterns. Emily traced the mechanism's edge, sensing the delicacy required. Lucas steadied the lantern, shadows dancing across ancient carvings. Every movement was deliberate, balancing caution with exhilaration. The hidden depths promised revelations of celestial mysteries, intertwined with city secrets. Trust and focus allowed them to advance deeper, hearts racing with the thrill of approaching long-buried truths. Each step felt heavier with anticipation yet driven by insatiable curiosity. The trapdoor opened to reveal a narrow tunnel lined with faintly glowing symbols. Emily led, Lucas following closely, flashlights illuminating diagrams of celestial events and hidden pathways. The tunnel narrowed, forcing single-file movement, amplifying tension. Dust and ancient air filled the space, echoing each step. Every sound, footfall, drip, faint wind, seemed magnified. Emily whispered interpretations of the symbols, Lucas cross-referencing with the tome. Ahead loomed a massive stone door, inscribed with celestial engravings pulsing faintly with energy.